Joe Biden actually knows how to talk. Apartheid state is actually, that's too kind for Israel. Israel's an exterminationist state. The apartheid was an intervening stage toward that end. But here's Joe Biden in 1986, and let's see if we can look at some of this energy directed towards South Africa.
What disturbs me more than the policy that you call a policy is the rationale for the policy. The rationale for the policy. You set out 4 principles that you adhere to, and then and I will go over them in a moment. Then you say on page 14, we must not become part of South Africa's problem. We must remain part of their solution. We must not aim to impose ourselves, our solutions, our favorites in South Africa. Damn it, we have favorites in South Africa. The favorites in South Africa are the people who are being repressed by that ugly white regime. We have favorites. Our loyalty is not to South Africa, it's to South Africans. And the South Africans are majority black, and they are being excoriated. It is not to some stupid puppet government over there. It is not to the Afrikaners regime. We have no loyalty to them. We have no loyalty to South Africa, to South Africans. And the fact of the matter is I listen to this rationale, first of all. It is the leaders of South Africa and their people, black and white, who have the majority responsibility. They must rise to it. Well, they are rising to it. They're rising to it. The only thing left available to do with that repulsive, repugnant regime of Afrikaners there. And it's the only way they have. They've tried everything for the last 20 years. They begged, they borrowed, they crawled, and now they're taking up arms. The second thing, progress for peace requires a timetable. Timetable, elimination of apartheid. What's our timetable? What are we saying to that repugnant regime? Are we saying you've got 20 days, 20 months, 20 years? We ask them to put up a timetable. What's our timetable? These people are being crushed. And we're sitting here with the same kind of rhetoric. The same thing we heard. We heard go slow. We heard we have to take care of the problem afterwards. We heard we can't impose.
You are totally misconstruing the testimony that I gave.
Read first.
Furthermore, Senator, let me say that I hate to hear a senator of the United States calling for violence.
I'm not calling for violence.
That's what you're doing.
I hate to hear
exactly what you're
Hamas supporter.
The administration and the Secretary of State refusing to act on a morally abhorrent point. I hate to hear this country. I'm ashamed that this country puts out a policy like this that says nothing. Nothing.
That's amazing. I mean, he's literally saying that, yeah, there's going to be violence.
Violence happens when you don't address this stuff.
But I mean, and look, this is not to water down the atrocities of the apartheid regime in South Africa. I mean,
no,
Biden's outrage was justified, of course.
If it wasn't actually sincere.
Well,
it's a great performance, though.
I mean, it was great, and of course, like it had crossed a certain threshold by that point in 1986, where it was politically advantageous of him to make this determination. But
actually, it should be politically advantageous to make the same determination about Israel now.
He views it in the terms of the Holocaust, which is insane.
And I'm sorry, but I'm sorry also. Truly, this is I've watched this clip many times because it showed kind of like Joe Biden's skills as an orator and a politician, and honestly because he looks so much like Hunter Biden in that clip, but
yeah,
sometimes I think about it where it's like you take those words and put them in Rashida Tlaib or Nora Erakat or someone like that. You put those words in those people's mouths. They're talking about this circumstance. They would be talking about this circumstance right now. And any number of people who are very supportive of Joe Biden would unequivocally be calling them a terrorist.
Oh yeah.
Like that was
justifying Hamas as terrorism. Hamas as terrorism.
Like George Shultz, that the Reagan Secretary of State in that committee hearing is responding the way that people are responding to demonstrators now being like, I would never suppose that an elected member of this body would condone violence. It's like, that's the person who was on the wrong side of this conflict, and that's where Joe Biden is now.
Right, exactly.
Somehow 40 years later, as the president, as opposed to being in that committee room.
Yeah. And of course, people point out Biden was a Zionist and a supporter of Israel throughout this entire time, and that is a contradiction there. But I was also point out, we talk about the romanticism. I saw Bernie talking about Golda Meir and talk about how this is no longer the Israel of Golda Meir, and it's like that you feel like first of all, like, if he must believe that, because otherwise he would feel embarrassed to say such a ridiculous thing out loud when people know who Golda Meir is now, racist, supporter of ethnic cleansing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and, you know, Bernie's probably the best senator on this issue.
Absolutely. I mean,
And, you know, that's what.
although I don't know if Chris Van Hollen would harken
Van
back.
Hollen voted for the UNRWA stuff.
That's
Van Hollen
true.
gets nothing.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, Golda Meir said this, which, by the way, was I heard, you know, people were sending this quote around in the wake of October 7th. We can forgive the Arabs for killing our children. We cannot forgive them for forcing us to kill their children. We will only have peace with the Arabs when they love their children more than they hate us. So
she saw, I believe, food on the tables of expelled Palestinians. Like, she was there. Maybe not 48, but I'll look up that reference. But like,
did she get her house when the Palestinians that she stole them from were at a religious service or when they were at a wedding? It's hard to determine. Anyway. Fizzy Drink says that was 2 lobotomies and 3 facelifts ago. Okay. Lydia Rose said this Biden guy should run for president. Scary Mountain Wizard. Wow, where the hell is this Biden? Sam from Ottawa. Wow, I had to open YouTube to actually see if this was in fact Biden speaking about South Africa. Where did hell did that conviction go?
Yeah.
Dave from Jamaica. Palestine. I think Biden and Trump are the same difference. Trump is an opportunist. Biden probably a Zionist. Oh, he said he's a Zionist. Yeah. Matt, I guess, said, regarding Brianna Wu, does she have some prominence on the left that I've missed? Before October 7th, I had no clue who she was, and now she pops up in my feed all the time, mainly because of other people calling her out. I agree that what she says is disgusting and factually incorrect, and she and many others seem to be relying on the engagement. I feel like there are a lot of grifters online right now, and sometimes withholding attention might be the best way to deal with them. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fairly true. I also think it's a shame because that she's leading rebellion pack, and you know that you have a genocide apologist or obfuscator, or I mean, asking questions or in a position of prominence is a problem to me.
Not Nick Fuentes. Hello, Emma. Don't forget that the other Zionist megadonor, the man who stole Super Sentai from Japan to adapt it to American audiences and call it Power Rangers, as well as distributing the first dub of Dragon Ball Z, Haim Saban, is an important contributor to the fact of making the Democratic Party more Zionist. Is it possible to talk about him in later editions of the Majority Report? Left is best. That is, I did not know that he was the Power Rangers guy.
Oh no, we've definitely talked about that a few times on this show. Haim Saban.
Haim Saban. We've talked about him before.
I mean, Hillary Clinton booster as well.
Oh yeah.
Zionism aside, the Power Rangers technique of taking a Japanese show, but where they're all wearing costumes where you can't see their mouths moving, so you can easily dub it for other audiences. Had an idea there.
Yeah. Zane says the video the Palestinians put on the inside of the hospital is the grimmest thing I've ever seen. They're very clearly executed at least 50 people in the hospital. People all line up with plastic handcuffs, shot in the belly and left to die. Very obviously doctors and nurses included. I haven't even seen that yet. Aaron from Atlanta, only thing that Barstool/Portnoy has done well is taking care of Miss Peaches, the sweetest pit I've ever seen. I don't know enough about Barstool lore to understand what that means, but
he adopted a dog recently and has been posting on TikTok a lot about it.
Well, that
very cute.
Absolves him of everything, because people who love dogs don't also have morally repugnant opinions about human beings, right?